Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that, some of the homework on that, and then we'll see if there's any questions that you might come across that you might have before I give you the take-home test, and then you have the opportunity to do the take-home test. Take-home test takes place in class. Well, you'll start it in class, take it home, bring it back tomorrow. All right. So let's take a look at that sheet that I just marked. So page 25, 26, please. And what kind of questions did you come across on there? You might want some more clarification on it. I'm looking at number 14. You might come across something like this, which is that shape. And they call that 5B, and that 4B, and that 5B, and that's 4B. And then they tell you that the sum of the interior measures of this shape are 360 degrees. So solve for B first, and then tell me what each of the angles would be. So when you look at this angle here and this angle here should be the exact same because they're both 5B. And then this angle here and this angle here are going to be the same thing because they're both 4B. So if I add up all my angles, it'll equal 360. So let's add them up. 5 plus 4, 9. 4 plus 5, 9 plus 9. So I get 18B is equal to 360. Is that okay how I just did that? How do I undo this? How do I get B by itself? How are 18 and B being held together? Multiplication, so let's divide it. So that's going to cancel, so I get B is equal to, how many times is 18 going to 360? 20 times? So are the angles all 20? No, that's what B is. So how big is this angle right here? 4 times 20, which is 80. If this one's 80, then this one's also 80 because that's also, and then what's 5 times 20? Okay, and if I add those all up, 100 plus 100 is 200, 80 plus 80 is 160, 200 plus 160 is 360, so that you've answered the question. What else do you have on that sheet that you'd like to go over? Go ahead, Joy. 12. Okay, so they want to know what value or values would I put in for C that would make this not happen. And if C was any negative number, that wouldn't work. So if you had something like this, negative 20, that's not going to work. There's no solution to it because I can't have. So I can't have a negative number in it. So any negative number won't work. 0, all the way to all the positives will all work. But as soon as that becomes negative, it doesn't give me a solution. What else do we have from there? Catch. Okay. Going off, some of the examples are similar to what we're going on here. How might I work this problem? And in the directions, it'll say clear the fractions. What should I multiply? First off, how many terms do I have sitting up there? 3. I have 1, 2, and 3. Agree? Yes. What can I multiply everything by that's going to get rid of the denominator? Yeah, so that'll be 5 over 1. That'll be 5, and that'll be 5. Those cancel, so I get 3x plus 30 is equal to 20. And then I can go ahead and solve this. Subtract 30. Hey, if I go 20 minus 30, what do I get? Negative 10, good. So I do get a fraction for an answer, but I didn't have to work with a fraction throughout. My last step was dividing, so that happened. Okay. So I'm just looking off of this sheet. What if I had something like this? So let's say 1/7. How would I approach this kind of problem? Yeah.
You find the common denominator.
I could, but if I don't really want to work out fractions, what else could I do? How many terms do I have up there? Three. I got 1, 2, 3. Agree?
Agree.
So if I multiply everything by 28 over 1, which is the same thing as 28, right? Watch what's going to happen. 2 goes into 28 14 times, so this becomes 14x. 7 goes into 28 4 times. 4 times 1 is 4. And then how many times does 28 go to 28? 1. So then I just get a 3 over here. From there, I'm going to subtract 4. And last step would be dividing 7 by 14. So again, you come up with a fraction for an answer, but you didn't have to work with fractions on solving it. So clearing the denominator is a huge skill. It's a great skill that's really going to help you along with this stuff. How might I do a problem like this? How many terms do I have? 2. I have this one and I have this one. Agreed? What can I multiply both sides by to get rid of the denominator? Yeah, so this is going to be 3 over 1, and this is going to be by 3. So those cancel. That just leaves me x plus 5. And then what is it on the other side? 30. And then if I solve it, subtract 5. Whoop, minus 5, minus 5. So I get x is equal to 25, right? These are all similar types of problems that you'll come across on this take-home test. How would I work this problem? Yeah.
Plus 7 on each side.
Yeah. So let's start moving things over. So I'm going to just add 7 to both sides. So then I have the absolute value of x plus 4 is equal to 4. Can I work this problem then? How many problems does this break into? 2. So I get x plus 4 is equal to 4. And then I get x plus 4 negative 4. Awesome. So that's going to give me x equals 0. So that's one of my answers. What's negative 4 minus 4? Negative 8. Good. Okay. So do the arithmetic first, and then break it into the absolute value. And then we have one last one I wanted to show you. So I want to start working this problem. First thing I would do is I'd probably add the 4 to both sides. What then do you think I should do? That 2 is not outside parentheses. That's 2 is outside the absolute value sign. So I can't distribute it over. So what can I do to move it over? Yeah. Divide each side by 2. So let's cancel. And that leaves you the x plus 5 equals 5. And then break it into your 2 problems. then solve it. Subtract 5. 0 here. Subtract 5, so you get negative 10. Okay? Last one. I'm thinking of 3 consecutive even integers that add to 120. So if I'm thinking about the 3 consecutive integers, if I call this one x, if it's an even integer, how do I get to the next one? Oh. Almost. If it was just, if they were just integers, x plus 1, you're totally right. But they're even. It's even or odd, you go x plus 2, x plus 4, okay? So if you have even or odd, that's going to give you the x plus 2 and x plus 4. So I'm going to do x plus 2 and x plus 4. So x plus x plus x. 2 plus 4 is? That's equal to 120. Yep. So 3x. It might not work out because I don't make these on the fly that good. I don't make them on the fly. Yeah, it actually won't work because 3 won't go into that evenly. So this one would actually have no solution because I can't make them up quick in my head.
If x equals 0, is that no solution?
Well, that'd be an integer. So if you came down to there and said x equals 0, it'd be 0, 2, and 4. Because you'd plug 0 in here, 0, and 0. That would.
Okay.
Can you go sit in the hall? Yeah, you're sitting there just making eyeballs, screwing around. Go sit in the hall. Okay, so if we had consecutive integers, and let's say there was 3 of them, and they added to 20, then it would have like this. So I'd have the x plus 1, and the x plus 2. So I get x plus x plus x, which is 3x, 1 plus 2, which is 3, equals 20. And then we go and solve that. And again, this one's not going to work because I can't make them up quickly enough. But that would definitely work. So those are all things. So here, coming back to you, first off, pass forward your homework from last night. Make sure your name is on anything you're handing in, please.
Wait, our test is tomorrow, right?
Correct. All right, so I'm going to be giving you take-home test, which I will grade it as right or wrong, okay, tomorrow. It's worth a portion of your test grade. It's worth basically 1/4 of your test grade. The other 3/4 come from the in-class test. On this take-home, thank you. On this take-home test, you're allowed to pretty much use any of the resources you want. You can work with each other, you can look at your notes, you can work with a tutor, anything. Except you can't ask me how to do a problem. Now, if you have, if you have another math teacher you can go to another math teacher, but you can't ask me. Okay, so there are take-home tests. It's pretty straightforward. You do it, and you submit it tomorrow. It's due tomorrow. It's very similar to in-class test tomorrow. So like I might have a problem on that is like x plus 4 equals 8. Well then tomorrow you might have x plus 5 equals 10. So it's done the exact same way. So the take-home test will be due tomorrow. You have the remainder of the period to work on it. It's worth 25% of the actual test. I grade it for right or wrong. Okay, so if I just look for your answers. If your answer's correct, I move on. Tomorrow is our in-class test. Okay, our in-class test is 75% of your test score. Okay, so could a student completely cheat and have somebody else do their whole take-home test for them and do really well? Absolutely. But what's the conversation when I grade this and then I'm looking going, okay, you nailed that one, but you got 15% on this one.
You're gonna become sauce.
So, what's the real truth that's happening? If someone else is doing it for you, you're not preparing yourself, the take-home test is not worth enough points for you to skate by in this class. You have to be able to accommodate and do well on this as well. There's two different categories you'll see in the grade book. You'll see take-home test, and right next to it will be in-class test. Yeah.
Will there be take-home tests for all of our?
Pretty much all, yeah.
What about like our finals?
The final, you'll have a review packet, and then we will have a something else. You know, then the final will be heads of paper. So this is a pretty cool thing because you're going to get those take-home tests back. They're yours to keep and study from. They look very similar to these. We don't give you these back because we don't give any tests back. But we'll give the take-home test back. But you can always come see me on the test. So let me give you the take-home